We're delighted to welcome back John Horrigan. I think you'll thoroughly enjoy his presentation. Let's give him just a little round of applause.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here tonight, and this joint is jumping. Thank you very much. I had given this lecture originally on April 21st, 2007, almost to the very moment that the fire started, some time ago in 1941. But I always wanted to do it for the summer people because I'm an old colonial boy from Green Harbor, a summer person, and God bless Marshfield. Okay, Chris. I'm going to be driving the narrative off the screen, the text, Lazy Man's lecture, so everybody can see. If you can't read the text, don't worry. They'll be able to hear me in Duxbury, I assure you. The Great Ocean Bluff Fire, the Great Brant Rock Fire. We're going to discuss that in just a moment. I'm a historical fire researcher, expertise in 17th to 19th century fires. I'm a historical astronomy researcher, historical weather researcher. My specialties are the hurricane of 1938, the great wreck of the St. John.
We'll probably be doing that one again, the hurricane of 38.
Yeah, the New England Lighthouse Storm. And in fact, Chris and I are talking about me doing the Year Without a Summer, which I think is so appropriate.
That's to do with sunspots.
Right, it's about the year 18 and 16, where it snowed in Boston on June 7th, and there was frost in Marshfield in July. It was caused by three factors, and I'll just end with this: sunspots, volcanic activity, and the movement of the sun within our solar system. But we're talking about that, so I'd love to have you come back at that point. I'm called the New England Folklorist, and what that means is I don't have any prefix before my name, I don't have any suffix after my name, and I don't have any mortgage-sized student loan nipping at my heels. And I've been called many things: a rogue nostalgian, a non-academic storyteller, and other things that can't be, an infotainer born from Google Books and PowerPoint. One guy said I was a cross between Indiana Jones and Fox Mulder without all the drama or the talent. I'm an expert on meteorological anomalies in America from Columbus up and through about 1938. I love aviation, legends. I belong to a number of historical societies. And I must tell you right away, I'm a professional sports announcer with the Boston Bruins alumni and the New England Patriots Alumni Club. I'm the Patriots basketball announcer. So if I break out into my hockey voice, I apologize in advance, but I've been doing it for a long time. Lastly, and I just want to go back, Chris, and the other one. Just test me, Chris has it down. The New England History Festival. Unfortunately, it's the November 14th and not the 15th, but this is my third annual. I call it Historipalooza, or a forum aid for reenactors. The past is a blast. November 14th in Watertown, New England History Festival. My website is ushistory.me, M-E. Just some this, that, and the other thing. Cell phones, off please, and usually when I say that, mine rings. I do not blog, nor do I read blogs, but I might one day. Questions at the end of the lecture, but we can work them in. And my old axiom is there's always someone in attendance who thinks that they know more about the subject than I do, and of course, someone who actually knows more about the subject than I do. And I'm sure that applies to some of you folks here tonight. And again, seriously, fire exits right here, get outside, right through there to the left, get outside, move away from the building. Some great fires in New England, and I apologize if I stand in your way. I'll move around and annoy everybody here tonight. But some great fires in New England. 1623 Plymouth. That's the fire where basically smoking was banned outdoors. If you wanted to smoke, you had to smoke indoors because the embers would go onto thatched roofs. So we've come full circle. 1676, the Great Fire took Paul Revere's family home. 1711, 1760, burned Faneuil Hall. 1775, the shelling of Falmouth, Maine. Portland, Maine by Moat. 1866, July 4th, the city burned down. And then 1872, known as Damrell's Fire, the greatest fire in Boston history. 1894 in Roxbury, which burned down the old South End grounds. In fact, I just returned from the Baseball Hall of Fame where I did a lot of research on said fire, and that's going to be in my upcoming book, if I ever can fool a publisher into publishing it. 1926, Nantasket. 1942, the Coconut Grove. 73, Chelsea, and of course the Station Club. Just some of the pricey fires throughout history. You can see Haverhill 1822, Boston 1899, and those are the dollars according to the years. The reason why I want to mention Great Portsmouth Fire is because it brings a character to Marshfield. On December 26, 1802 at 4 a.m., 132 buildings were lost in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. It started on the site of the banking block in what is today Market Square and obliterated the city along Daniel Street. In the central parade, only the North Church and the Old State House were left standing. On Wednesday morning, December 24th, 1806, the second great downtown fire moved in from Bow Street area, up Market Street, and back towards the barely recovered square. St. John's Church and 13 buildings were absorbed by the fire. And that's because this guy, on Wednesday, December 22nd, 1813, the largest great fire in Portsmouth, New Hampshire history, happened when a terrible fire burned nearly the entire central business district, 300 buildings, and it stopped only when it reached the Piscataqua River. A promising young New Hampshire attorney named Daniel Webster lost his Portsmouth house to the fire of 1813, and he relocated to nearby Massachusetts, which is right here in Marshfield. And then again in 1845, another fire occurred. Webster is attributed to saying Marshfield is half marsh and half heaven. Just some other fires, I won't bore you with this. The Great Nantucket Fire that I've researched, this is where whale oil went up in flames. This is where they used to take them. This would make Chief Robinson's hair curl. They used to take the hot ashes, put them into a wooden box, and you take that wooden box out to another wooden box that was towed by a man, and he'd store it in a wooden building. Well, that leads to fire. And they do it near the whale oil barrels, not that that would catch up. Well, the whole island of Nantucket went up on July 13th, 1846. And what was unique about this is there were fist fights between the fire departments to see who had the right to put it out as the island burned down. Another one on Martha's Vineyard on August 11th, 1883. And then this is the Great Roxbury Fire, and I don't want to bore you with this, but the South End grounds, it was the home of the Boston Bean Eaters, who eventually became the Boston Braves. And 3 structures stood there, South End grounds 1, 2, and 3 from 1871 until 1914. And after this fire, the Bean Eaters played in 3 ballparks that year. South End grounds 2, South End grounds 3, and the Congress Street grounds. And basically, 177 buildings went up, underinsured, and the Braves moved out of those grounds, etc. And they came to the stretch drive of the 1914 pennant race. I think the Congress grounds was like 250 feet to right. I could put a wiffle ball out there. So, is it the Great Ocean Bluff Fire, the Great Shore Fire, the Great Brant Rock Fire? The answer is yes. It's been called all 3 fires by major newspapers. And this is the fun part. I always pick up a new hamlet. But in 1640, Marshfield, founded by Edward Winslow, voted to incorporate townships. The villages and districts' names were, and I'm going to put in some names that I've heard, and I'd love to hear you chime out if I forget any. Brant Rock, Center Marshfield, Ferry Hill, Fairbanks Park, Hewitt's Point, Green Harbor, Duxbury Beach, Fieldston, Everson's Island, Major's Island, Marshfield Hills, East Marshfield, North Marshfield, Hummerock, Ocean Bluff, Ocean's Bluff, Wrexham Terrace, Wrexham, Holly Hill, Seaview, my favorite, Marsh Vegas, Standish, which is in the Route 139 area, Holy City, which was a name given to the cluster of tiny cottages around St. Anne's by the Sea, circa the late 1910s and early 1920s. This factors prominently in our story tonight. Sunrise Beach, the name given to the beach area in Ocean Bluff. Abington Village, an area in Fieldston adjacent to Sunrise Beach. Greenbush, the name given in the late 19th century to the area west of Brant Rock on the opposite side of the river. Bluefish Bay, Blackman's Point, tagged in the middle of the 19th century. Careswell was the name given to the area near Flaherty's Pond, that's where I grew up. And the New Assumption Church. Duxfield, name given to houses on the Duxbury-Marshfield line, the way to Duxbury Beach. Green Harbor Village. Cedar Crest, which was a campground off of Careswell Street. Burke's Beach, Blackmount, Fieldston Lodge, Everson Village District. Anybody have another one? I'd love to hear it. Marshfield Acres. Wonderful. Where's that?
Behind the Tower Avenue Playground.
At the Tower Avenue Playground.
Yes, that whole section was once a pond.
Wonderful.
After World War II, all the lots of land were sold to the returning veterans for a very minimal price.
Oh, I forgot to add Rite Aid Village, Walgreens Village, and CVS Village. I'm sorry.